We're here at Chapter 3 in Black Myth Wukong. That means it's time to take on a bunch of new enemies and, of course, new bosses. Luckily, we here at Direct Gaming have the perfect guide for you on how to take down the boss, Captain Wise Voice. Interesting name, I will say. Quick note before starting. This boss has actually been nerfed according to the most recent patch, making it a tad bit easier. I'm not sure exactly what they changed, but regardless, it has been changed. This video, however, was recorded before the patch, so everything will still work from this guide, but it will simply be easier for you. Of course, if you have fought both pre-patch and post-patch boss, let us know down below in the comments. Alright, as always though, this guide is going to be broken down into 3 parts. Personal setup and skills I had unlocked for the fight, tips on how to avoid the boss attacks and how to counter them, then finally a full run of the boss fight sped up a tad to show you how to use everything you have learned in real time. Okay, let's get started. Now, this boss takes place after you've escaped the giant jail cell you're thrown into. You can level up a decent amount as you're going through the entire jail cell, meaning that things like skills and items can be leveled up or crafted as well. I tested the armor that I had from the previous Thunder Dragon boss, upgraded my staff just a smidge, which is always helpful, and obviously applied leftover sparks that I had. If you need to level up, however, though, as it's still early in the game, we have a guide on the channel you can go and check out. Also, make sure you grab things like evil repelling medicine and longevity, as it can help with reducing damage and giving you more health. I've also started using a lot more pills like Tiger Subduing to increase my damage and my crit damage. I do this not only to deal more damage, obviously, but also to get to the health checkpoints faster so the boss does certain moves and I'm able to counter them easier. You'll see that as we go through this entire boss fight. With our prep done though, that's basically it for this, and it's time to take on this horse boss, I guess. Now when it comes to the boss fight itself, Wise Voice here,
Captain Jack Sparrow, please.
Sorry, Captain Wise Voice is honestly not too bad. As noted above, the boss was nerfed, but by how much, it's really hard to say. This boss fight is a giant four-legged creature, so you can actually just do a lot of damage by weaving in and out around its legs pretty easily. As always though, if you yourself have any personal tips, make sure you put them down in the comments. Now, when you enter the room where the boss is, it looks like it's going to start freaking out, lasers will start shooting out randomly, etc. You can hang back to avoid these lasers if you really want to, but I highly recommend you run as fast as you can to get up straight under the boss and just start dealing damage right away to one of its legs. You can hit its legs, getting some good damage done in while also avoiding most of its attacks. Hence why I also pop some of those damage increase pills to do even more damage. However, this means though that when you target the boss by locking on, make sure you switch from focusing on the head to the legs to make it a lot easier. One attack you should watch out for, however, though, is a sort of pulse attack where you'll see the attack on the ground in front of the boss. Then when its head pushes into the small ball, an electric pulse will emit around the entire arena. In order to avoid this, simply perfect dodge or jump over it. It will usually go off twice. Sometimes once though, it can change up a bit sometimes. Usually after this, the boss will actually try to jump back into one of the corners and a bunch of electric strike circles on the ground will appear. You need to weave in between these by either dodging or getting behind the boss, or as close as you can. These will try to target you regardless of where you are, so the best advice I can give is to either try and perfect dodge these or simply just take the hits, because you'll dodge a few of them, get hit by one, get back up, kind of dodge some more, and probably get hit by a second one if I'm being perfectly honest here. They don't do too much damage, and if you need to, use one of your shock pills to get rid of the shock effect that the boss will put on you. As you continue to hit the boss at the feet, you'll actually eventually stun it. It may look like it's attacking you half the time, but again, simply standing under the boss will allow you to avoid most of the attacks. Then once you stun it, it's time to really go to town and deal some good damage. When you see the boss jump up but not away, that is going to be the time that you actually need to dodge one of its attacks, as it's going to come crashing down right on top of you. Again, perfect dodges should work out here, no problem. A big attack you should watch out for is when you see the before mentioned lasers start appearing everywhere near the boss. When you see this, run behind the boss immediately, as it's about to shoot a giant laser at you. I got hit by this the first time when I tried this boss fight out, and it hurts quite a bit. As it charges though, lightning strikes will start to appear around the arena as well, so make sure you try dodging those as you're doing some damage to the boss from behind. This is actually when I would recommend using the rock transformation, aka Azur's Dust, which will allow you to not only avoid damage, it will help you get your R2 square move ready to help maybe stun the boss potentially depending where you are in its health, if you can time this right. And it honestly just makes the boss fight go a lot faster. It's going to waste all of its electrical attack, the giant arena move is going to hit you, and potentially a laser as well. But you're just going to take all that damage because the rock has a ton of defense, so it's a win-win situation. However though, as you get the boss down to about 25% health, this is where it finally starts to get a little bit more agile. It will start moving around faster, jumping more, and firing off more lasers that can hit you. You might get hit once or twice, but again, simply healing can work out pretty much here. Overall though, there's really no secret moves to really do with this boss. As beforehand with other boss fights, and probably future ones as well, there's particular moves that you should really be focusing on and everything, and we'll get into those in just a second. But overall, it's simply just getting under the boss, whacking away with your staff at its legs. It may look like you're button mashing half the time, and it's kind of true because you can get away with that. Other than that though, this is basically everything that I can personally think of in terms of how to avoid the moves. Besides the basic combo, using moves like your pillar stance can help with the attacks that the boss do, sometimes on the ground, aka like the pulse moves or lightning strikes, and if you happen to have it charged up to 3 focus points, that's obviously going to do more damage, but it can also stun the boss faster, which can definitely help you out a lot, knocking it down, meaning that you can do even more damage to the boss. And now with said boss being nerfed according to the patch notes, again, this should make things easier. One thing I will say this boss does represent, however, though, is getting used to using things like pills and other medicine that can help you deal not only more damage, but get chances to do more damage, aka your crit chance. By doing this and using this faster, you just burn through the boss's health a lot faster, especially if you've been keeping up on upgrading your staff and your moves. Made it a lot easier for me, so I'm assuming it's going to make it a lot easier for you. Now, here's a full run of the boss fight sped up a tad to show you how to take Captain Wise Voice down. As always, learn the attacks and the patterns of the boss to make it easier. It's okay if it takes you a couple of tries. If you enjoy the guides, then a like on the video shows us that you enjoy this type of content, and don't forget to check out our other Black Myth Wukong guides and content along with our other videos in the top right corner and pinned comment. Thanks for watching the video. I've been Talon with Direct Gaming. I hope you have a great day and week, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Johnny.